What's going on, everyone? The Boston Celtics were just in the NBA Finals, and yes, they lost to the Warriors, but the experience that they gained is huge, right? We have watched the progress of this young Boston Celtics team, and that's the key. They are still very young, and I could see them continuing to improve, get better. Jayson Tatum, Jaylen Brown continuing to lead that charge, and as this season approaches and they get through the grind of that season and into the playoffs, I wouldn't be shocked if they're back in the NBA Finals once again. Now, I still think Milwaukee is a team that is better than them. I think depending on certain moves, like Miami, if they got like a Donovan Mitchell, I think that they would be better than them. But for the most part, I do think that that experience that they just gained cannot be ignored. This is a team that had never been in those situations and ended up having just this crazy Eastern Conference matchups and ended up coming out on top. And even though I do think that they were a Chris Middleton away from, being sent home, I still think that that is a lesson that they've learned. And they improved their roster, right? They got Gallo, they got Malcolm Brogdon, and there's a lot of hope and promise with this Celtics team. Plus, again, they are extremely young. But regardless, guess what? The Boston Celtics have emerged as a trade partner for Kevin Durant. Yes, Kevin Durant going to the Boston Celtics is something that is being engaged in trade talks. As of right now, the original offer was declined, but you know how it goes. You always decline the first offer because, then you get into those negotiations and you end up making the trade. That is the goal. That is the idea for the Boston Celtics because the Boston Celtics believe that Kevin Durant is the missing piece to really put them over the top, that they are right there as a team. They just need a guy like KD and they can win another championship. They could be putting up banner 18 this upcoming season. And Kevin Durant to the Celtics does make a lot of sense. I mean, again, it's a team that back in 2016, Kevin Durant wanted to go to. I mean, there were reports and talks that that was the front runner, that was the team he was going to go to, and ended up going to the Golden State Warriors. And now cue the Boston sweeps Kevin Durant. So now he joins the Boston Celtics comments. But in reality, I mean, this isn't the same thing. I mean, Boston would be trading for him rather than anything else. But it is a team that has been on Kevin Durant's radar for some time. This is a team that Kevin Durant would be interested in going to and actually play for. And so this could be a mutually beneficial trade. Now, initially the trade was declined, but I do imagine that these trade talks will continue, especially if the reports from Shams and everybody that talked about how this is like the missing link according to the Boston's organization. Like if the Boston Celtics really feel this strongly about it, then they will continue to pursue Kevin Durant. I think they just wanted to kind of wait, see what was the landscape like and see what their leverage is, like what type of negotiations can we have, what kind of deal can we put together. And obviously any deal for Kevin Durant is around Jaylen Brown. So Jaylen Brown is in the trade talks. It was also Derek White and a first round pick. The reason that the original trade package was declined was because the Nets want Marcus Smart, which I completely understand. If you're the Nets, Jaylen Brown, Marcus Smart. I mean, Jaylen Brown, Marcus Smart, and a first over Jaylen Brown and even White. Like, keep Derek White. Like, I want Marcus Smart, Jaylen Brown, and give me like 2 firsts. And I think that's a real possibility to get done. And from a Nets perspective, I think that this is arguably the best trade you're going to get for a Kevin Durant. I mean, obviously you're never going to get the true fair value, but Jaylen Brown is an all-star, young, two-way player who could be that guy. I mean, we saw Jaylen Brown. He's got that dog in him, more so than even Jayson Tatum. And in my opinion, and I know this would never happen, 1, you can't make the trade, and 2, I just don't think Boston would ever do it. I would rather have Jaylen Brown and Kevin Durant than Jayson Tatum and Kevin Durant. But that's just me personally. I think Jaylen Brown has more of that dog in him. I think he's more of like that go-to, like I can put this team on my back and win this game type guy, where Jayson Tatum kind of disappears at times. And even in the NBA Finals, we saw him just kind of disappear. And, there was a couple games in that Finals where it was just like, if Tatum just gave you like 6 points in that quarter, you would have won the game. But that's neither here nor there. Nonetheless, the Nets, if they get a guy in Jaylen Brown, you got now your cornerstone for the future of your franchise. Marcus Smart, especially if you get him, you're going to be trading Kyrie Irving. You're basically replacing Kyrie and KD with Smart and Brown. And now, obviously, the two of them aren't as good. But, I mean, that's a pretty good, that's a pretty good start for a team that can't tank, right? A team that has to rebuild, that they can't risk, okay, let's just start from scratch. No, they have to get pieces to contend and be as good as possible. And Jaylen Brown and Marcus Smart would be that duo. And here's the thing too, when it comes to Marcus Smart, and I'm sure a lot of people watching this video are like, no way you trade Marcus Smart. But if you can keep Derek White and you just got Malcolm Brogdon, if Brogdon can stay healthy, there's your Smart replacement. Now, I'm not saying Brogdon is as good as Smart, but he's very comparable. That defensive guard that can knock down threes, all of that stuff, and you're getting Kevin Durant. You are getting a huge upgrade. I could see, if push comes to shove, Jaylen Brown and Marcus Smart going for Kevin Durant. I just think if Marcus Smart is the holdup, you trade Marcus Smart. As much as he is, how important he is for the Celtics, because he's more important than just the, I'm the player. Like, he is their pit bull. He is like, their vocal leader in many ways. All of that. And my concern with the Kevin Durant trade, especially if you give up Brown and Smart, is who's going to be that player in the locker room. Because Kevin Durant isn't that guy, and neither is Jayson Tatum. So who's going to be that voice? Al Horford maybe? Yeah, possibly. But, Smart was the guy we saw, in people's grills, get yourself together. Come on. And Jaylen Brown, same thing. Jaylen Brown was that dog. You're losing your two dogs to get Kevin Durant. You got to win. It's got to be worth it because, that becomes a big thing. Because Jaylen Brown, he is such a tremendous talent. So young, so gifted, a real two-way player right now in this league. And it's only going to get better as time goes on. But now, if he ends up going to a team like the Brooklyn Nets, where he gets to be the number one guy, I think we're going to see a very different Jaylen Brown. And that'll be interesting. Because, look, if they get Marcus Smart and Jaylen Brown, the Nets still have a pretty solid team. You would still have most of your guys. You still have Nick Claxton. You still have Patty Mills, Joe Harris, Seth Curry. You have a lot of shooting around these guys. You still got T.J. Warren that they just picked up, where if he could get back to being the T.J. Warren that people know, that's a serious team. I don't think they're a contender, but I think that they're definitely a team that can make some noise. And they might, it's how much worse can you be than last year, if you're the Nets. And then from the Celtics standpoint, you get Kevin Durant, Jayson Tatum. You're in a good spot. You probably win the championship last year if you had Kevin Durant. Just the way everything went, you probably win the championship if you have Kevin Durant. And I know people are thinking the Boston Celtics shut down Kevin Durant. No, it's not the same thing. The Boston Celtics' only game plan, go watch that series. Their only game plan was put everybody on Kevin Durant and make everyone else beat you, and we'll win this series. And that's exactly what happened. Go watch the games. Anytime Kevin Durant was anywhere near the basketball, they had two guys in his chest at all times, not allowing him to get up and elevate, forcing the ball out of his hands, keeping the ball out of his hands. Every player on that team had so many wide open shots. I think it was game 3. The commentators were like, if these Nets could just make their open shots, this would be a series. They were getting wide open looks, but they weren't hitting because the Celtics knew Kevin Durant is the only threat. If we stop him, we're good. Kyrie Irving was getting his, 25 to 30 a night because they were just kind of letting him do his thing because they knew if Kevin Durant is the heart and soul of this team, if we stop him, we win. And that's what they did, and they won. So the plan worked. But you're not going to have that when you have somebody like, Jayson Tatum, and you'd still have Williams, you still have Horford, you still have such a deep quality team. You're basically upgrading Jaylen Brown for Kevin Durant. As much as Jaylen Brown is, I think, a really key asset for the Celtics, I understand it. I think you got to do it. If you have a chance for Kevin Durant, I think you do it. Personally. Now, there are concerns, of course, with Kevin Durant, how many games is he going to play? You're trading a young guy that, has just been there night in and night out for you for a guy that, plays 50 games a season now. But you're getting Kevin Durant for the playoffs and for a finals run. You don't really care about the regular season. You have enough talent and enough guys on this roster to where even if Kevin Durant misses 30 games, you're still in the playoffs. Right, as long as things shape up correctly, and Jayson Tatum's healthy, and you don't have a disastrous strain of injuries. As long as if Kevin Durant plays at least 50 games, you're gonna make the playoffs. And if he's healthy come playoff time, this Boston Celtics team is scary because you'd still have all the wings, you still have all the defense. Kevin Durant is still a pretty solid defender when he wants to be. It's just hard when you have to not only play defense, but you have to score 35 a night, and you have to facilitate, and you have to do a little bit of everything. And when Kevin Durant is on the net, or if he goes to the Boston Celtics, he doesn't have to do those things. Like, he could just be there just to score. I just need you to get me 30 a night and play some solid defense. Like, you don't even have to be a stop defender. Just, play some solid defense. So I could see that happening. You also got the relationship with Ime Udoka. Like, I just think that it would be hugely beneficial. And now at this point, I think you have no choice but to trade Jaylen Brown, because Jaylen Brown is not going to be happy. And there were talks and murmurs earlier in this offseason about Jaylen Brown potentially wanting to be traded and wanted out. I never talked about it because it wasn't like it was like a former NFL player that said that is supposedly friends with Jaylen Brown. So I was kind of like, I'm not going to talk about that. But he was like, look, like Jaylen Brown doesn't really want to be there. And now, if that's true, and I'm not saying that's true. There was just some random NFL player or retired NFL player that supposedly is friends with Jaylen Brown, and this is what Jaylen Brown told him. Whether that's true or not, I don't know. But if it is true, and even if it isn't, you're trying to trade Jaylen Brown, he notices, he's like, dude, I thought I was your guy, and now you're trying to get rid of me for, a 34, 35-year-old Kevin Durant. I can see where he's upset. And, he expressed it. You get the tweet, SMH, shaking my head, Jaylen Brown, he's not happy. And now at this point, like, how do you mend that bridge? Like, now you kind of have to go all in on Kevin Durant, right? If you're the Boston Celtics, what else are you gonna do? You have to, in my opinion, say, hey, you know what? Take Marcus Smart, take 2 first, and then here's Jaylen Brown, and you get the deal done. And now you got Kevin Durant to this team, and you're off to the races. And you're very likely in the NBA Finals with Jayson Tatum and Kevin Durant. Not just that, but Kevin Durant Jayson Tatum can learn a lot from Kevin Durant. And I think that would be hugely beneficial in and of itself. And, I just think that this duo would be, they'd be arguably the best duo in the NBA. It's just, how much will Jayson Tatum disappear is my concern, because he really does. Jayson Tatum is a guy that I love. Jayson Tatum, I love his game. I think if you put Jaylen Brown's mentality into Jayson Tatum could very well be the best player in the league. Jayson Tatum is so skilled, so talented for how young he is. Can put the ball, can score from anywhere, do so many things. His footwork's fantastic. His shot creation is amazing. He can go get his own shot. He can play solid defense, everything. This guy is a legit star in this league. He just disappears so much. And he has gotten a lot better at being effective in other ways, which is good, because a couple years ago, if he disappeared and he wasn't scoring, that was it. You might as well not even have him on the court. Now he does other things. We saw that game where he had like 11 points, but he had like 10 assists or 11 assists or whatever it was, and got like 6 boards and stuff. He's starting to find other ways to be effective beyond just scoring, which is good. That's what you want from a guy. You're having a bad night, impact the game in other ways. And so hopefully he still learns. And if he can just not disappear, especially in big playoff games and big playoff series, then I do think that this team could compete. And one little note, how amazing would it be if Kevin Durant went to the Boston Celtics and Kyrie Irving went to the Lakers, and you had them meet in the NBA Finals for a showdown? The winner gets banner 18. Like, you can't write a better story. Whether you're a Laker fan or a Celtics fan or not, you cannot write a better story. I might even make like a little fun video about that, or maybe we'll even do a live stream on that or something. But anyway, yeah, I just think like if you can make these two a possibility, you do it. Make these two a possibility, make it happen. And if you can get Kevin Durant on the Celtics and in a Celtics jersey, I think you get it done. But those are my thoughts and opinions. And as always, I pass the question on to you. Let me know yours down in the comment section below. What do you think? Do you think yes, trade it, make it happen? Do you think no, keep Kevin Durant away from the Celtics, keep Jaylen Brown? And even if you are somebody like that, do you think you already burnt that bridge with Jaylen Brown? Because Jaylen Brown isn't happy, and he's not going to be happy. And and now what? Now do you? What ends up happening in that regards? Is he going to be pissy? Is he going to come in and Is he going to cause problems in the locker room? Is he going to demand a trade if you don't trade him? Like, what's going to happen? How is this going to shape up? I mean, and honestly, if you're Jaylen Brown, you might want to go to the Nets, because you're going to be the guy. It's not, instead of you and Tatum, you get to be the guy. And Jaylen Brown believes he is the guy. Jaylen Brown believes he's the best player on the court night in and night out. Jaylen Brown believes he's better than Jayson Tatum. All of those things. So, if this trade gets done and you're Jaylen Brown, you're thinking like, perfect, I get to go to the Nets and be the guy. I get to be the star. Like, now it's my team, and now you have those battles for years to come. I think if you're Jaylen Brown, I think you want out now at this point. It's like, you guys don't want me, like, I was the best and most consistent guy on your team when we went to the NBA Finals. Jayson Tatum over here didn't even show up for the finals, and you want to trade me for Kevin Durant. All right, bet. Like, that's how he's probably looking at it. But anyway, again, love to hear your thoughts, opinions, however you feel about it. Let me know down in the comment section below. That being said, hit that like button. Helps me out a lot. Lets me know you enjoy these types of videos, and I truly appreciate it. If you're not subscribed to the channel, hit that subscribe button, followed by the bell notification. Stay up to date with all things sports. Join this wonderful community and all of our discussions. I'll see you all in the next one. Thank you.